The Crash Course Podcast is brought to you in part by DerbyParts.com, Smashmasters, Derby Parts, Derby Inc. Magazine, Live It, Breathe It, Be It, Derby Inc. The 2014 Bash for Cash, May 24th and 25th, Washington Courthouse, Ohio. And the Keystone Nationals, a Bo Lockwood Motorsports production, July 19th at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Brookville, Pennsylvania. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Welcome to the Crash Course. I'm Chris Marquardt. Busy show. Holy cow, we got a lot of stuff to cover. It's going to be a sprint. We got Curt Zacharias coming up just in about maybe 5-6 minutes here. We're going to talk a little bit about winning up in Mandan. Spend a little bit of time talking about what's going on with that show in Wadena. A lot of good stuff. Looking forward to that trip. In the studio tonight, we've got Josh Decker and Ben Haas. We've also got Brian Tompkins. We're going to catch up about Yates County Speedway's show. We're going to talk a little bit about Morris, the Father's Day program that's coming up. We're going to have a little bit of a discussion on Charlie Perrine's program that kind of happened Friday and then definitely didn't happen Saturday. and just, I mean, we've got Metal Mayhem coming this weekend. There's so much. Derby season has started.
Oh, there's a lot going on.
I mean, back to Monday night. Finally, we've gotten that that funkiness here. Yeah, got the funkiness of the schedule out of the way, and
I haven't been here in a month.
Yeah, I know, and it's
weeks. And
it's different having you back.
Hey, is it a good thing? Or?
Well, I mean, you were able to corral Curt Zacharias.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to him, actually. I started thinking about when I was driving here. He was kicking my ass at Winter Slam. I started thinking about all the times you drove me on my seat there. I can't wait to talk to him. He was schooling me.
So we'll get into that. Curt brought a fleet of 4. Team America brought a fleet of 4 Thunderbirds. Equally nasty Thunderbirds, what we saw when we were up in Minnesota for Napa Winter Slam, and they ran over everything in Mandan at the team show and ended up coming away with the win. Ran over. There's probably a lot of people that just gathered their pitchforks and flaming torches, and it was a good show.
I heard he ran harder than at Winter Slam. I heard he was
getting more bite.
I heard he was running.
Pretty much.
I know. If he'd only thought to put Blizzak all seasons on, what would he have done?
Oh man,
hen kooks. But I mean, so where do we even start? Mike Felice, I suppose we'll jump right into some of the local results here. Mike Felice coming away with a hard-fought win in the adult compact division. King Smash from Crash from Derbies hosted a show at Yates County Speedway, formerly Black Rock. I guess there was some confusion on that, by the way.
You gotta keep calling it Black Rock.
Black Rock Speedway does not exist anymore.
Okay.
Dan Harpel has taken over that track, and the track on 14A. South of downtown in Dundee is Yates County Speedway now. So when I posted I was looking for help at Yates County on Saturday, I wasn't talking about the fair a month from now. I was talking.
I thought you were. He was all confused.
I was talking about like 12 hours from when that post went up. Chris Brogan was there. Bob Smith was there. Andy Vona, Guy Raymond, both running there. Those two had a conversation after the Derby was over with, and Josh.
That's a way to put it.
They always do.
Josh.
Yeah.
They always do those two. That's why I love listening to them. I did hear that it got heated.
It got heated big time afterwards. Big time. There was some. It was. And the thing is that was that even got the monster. Mike Vader's Monster Motorsports was there. Matt Cody, Super Jimmy Tracy. Mike Vaders Jr., Mike Vaders himself were all there with Black Stallion, Iron Warrior, Overkill Evolution, and the Higher Education Cool Bus. Those guys were talking about the fight at the demolition. So you got some. Those boys got some recognition, but I mean that fight should not overshadow Mike Felice's drive.
Oh,
what a run!
I seen him today. I passed him on the road. He was like grinning ear to ear. I'm like, yeah, you could tell he just won a Derby over the weekend.
And he had no plans on winning it. He didn't think he was going to do anything at all with that. And he had a Honda, and man, he caught Bob Smith, just caught him with his head down, kind of just got a hold of him and shoved him the length of the track, and then packed him in a couple 2-3 times, and then the shot clock's on, and I'm like, Bob's coming out of this, and he just never came out of that hole. And Mike went in, made one final hit, and that did it. Jeremy Doyle comes away with third, did a real good job driving that car. I said driving the car. He drove the car. What are you gonna do? Brian's shaking his head over here. You're talking about how what's your suggestion there?
Jeremy had to show one until he drove into the green car that finished second.
I was getting to that
and
there.
Knocked the radiator out of it, and the Derby lasted 2 more minutes after that. I talked to Jake afterwards, and I'm like, dude, your brother had that one. until he drove into the ass end of a compact.
Must be he didn't have a pointy on the front of it.
He had no bumper on the front of it.
There was a pointy there. It was on the front of a Taurus wagon.
Yeah.
Bonus car?
Wait a minute. I thought you weren't running full-side bumpers.
Oh, no. John King Show, you can.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
You can run kickers, too.
Yeah.
Well, I know that firsthand.
At least that's what I've heard. And window bars. Sometimes.
I had to cut mine.
Justin Eldridge was there, and he was the defending winner of that spring show. And
his car was pretty used up before he got there, though.
Yeah, that was the same car that he ran at Canandaigua.
Well,
Jerry Ott was there.
He's 21 now, so he's
How many
he
kids
celebrate?
How many kids were there?
There was 8.
Oh.
Mackenzie Matthews coming away with an emotional win. That was cool.
Yeah.
Sean Ingram, by the way, Sean Ingram is carrying the Ingram torch.
Yeah.
He's
I heard
a
that.
lunatic.
I heard that.
And the one kid was his name Bice?
Kyle Bice from Caledonia.
He was driving people, too.
Never drove in a Derby before. And he was just end to end, just wadding stuff.
I love watching kids, actually, because they just have
They have
no
no
fear.
clue. They don't know they could get hurt
None.
doing that stuff.
Zero.
But
But you hear the fathers saying they don't want to hop. All the fathers are saying, I'll never hop in again. But I said to Brett, why not? And Brett made a good point. Think if you're in a Derby and every decision that happens in the car is wrong. You're going, you're leaving yourself open. You're leaving a tire shot. He's like, it was everything she did was wrong. It's like, okay, I can get that.
I don't know if Brett ever rode with Tabitha or not, but I know he rode with another friend of his son one year at Black Rock.
Never again, he said.
That's what he said. He goes, all right, what do you want to do? And the kid's like, I want to try to win. And Brett said, all right. He goes, let's go down here. We'll play around in the corner and go from there. They said go, and the kid was on the board.
Yeah. Brett says that never again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, Ian Doyle was looking really good. He did a nice job. And what you were talking about, the mistake there, Ingram was coming around the front of Austin Smith's car, and Austin Smith was out forever out. Came around the front, had the wheels full lock left. The front wheels were spinning at all that rev limiter would allow, and Ian popped him in that left front corner. And that won the Derby for Mackenzie. Yeah. Because after that, Ian's car wasn't right after that. Something went wrong.
I talked to Jake, and he said he lost a CV shaft. But it looked like a pretty gentle. I mean, he was kind of in there sideways, and he got hit. And I don't know if it happened to be spinning when it got hit or not, but I don't know it broke the shaft.
But Ian's shot on Sean Ingram screwed up the left front corner of Sean's car, and then Sean ended up in a knot with Ian and Mackenzie, and couldn't steer to the right. It would not turn, and he just drove straight off the track and tried to get it swung around, and it wouldn't happen. So Mackenzie just pulled off to the side and was just counting seconds at that point. You could see her smile getting wider and wider and wider. 10 seconds to go, and she had the zero roof sign on, which was pretty cool to see.
That's awesome.
That was good.
That's awesome.
Brett was pretty emotional after that. He went out on the track and gave her a big hug, and pretty emotional for him.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mackenzie, what we didn't mention is Mackenzie's father was Roger Matthews, and he passed away
3 years ago.
4 years ago.
Derby driver. And
so it was good to see. Good show overall. The monster trucks, they one of them had a starter solenoid seize after they accidentally hit the ignition override, and then another one, the batteries went dead because he was using the 4-wheel steer too much. So in the freestyle, only 2 trucks ran the full duration, and they were the first 2 trucks on the track.
Yeah. You gotta watch that because, no offense, but every time you go to Black Rock, like half the monster trucks work. Sometimes I went there once and none of them worked.
Yeah.
So they gotta. I know they're very temperamental, but gotta get working on. If all the Derby cars didn't work when we got there, I mean,
I know Dan, the guy that owned them all.
Mike that owned them all.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. They said they had motor problems in the one, and a guy drove up from Hagerstown, brought motor parts up, and they put it together. And
the
cool
higher education blew up.
He's the guy out of Hagerstown.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I've been to his house, been to his shop.
No shit.
Oh yeah, he's
badass.
super cool guy.
Yeah, they bought.
Awesome
That's what I said. Is you guys bought Derby cars down there?
Yep.
Because I didn't realize they were the ones from Hagerstown, and then Chris and I got dragged into the booth with Marquardt, and we got talking. He's like, "Yeah, they're from Hagerstown, Maryland," and I said that you had met those guys and talked to them, and
that's cool.
Yep,
they got to have V8s at Black Rock. Let me just throw that back out there because you didn't have any, and
well, it's because it was supposed to be the Cuba show.
Good point.
Yeah, and that kind of
that was the reason why they weren't going with the V8s. And there's a lot of scenarios swirling around that. But Curt Zacharias joining us on the DerbyParts.com hotline. Curt, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey man, can you hear us okay?
Well, I
little
can hear
bit,
kind of okay.
More or less. All right. We'll try and help you out with that a little bit as we go. But congratulations. I understand that the T-Birds that you brought to Mandan were even more brutal than what we'd already seen when we were up in Minnesota.
Yeah, they held up really well.
Kurt, we as a crew wanted to tell you after. I think you guys are good at this. The show you put on in Winter Slam was incredible.
That was awesome.
To win the feature and win the hardest hitter of the day.
You deserved it.
It just does not get any better than that. Your motor was impressive. Your car was impressive. Your driving was impressive. That was a hell of a show you put on, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you run one of those birds again, because there's no doubt you run them the right way.
Yeah, they're fun to drive when they're built right.
So how do you build one right?
I guess I'm not going to tell you that.
A lot of time and a lot of welding wire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, tell us a little bit about what it means to come away with that fleet of 4 that you had out there in Mandan, come away with that win.
Well, that was pretty awesome to beat, some of the teams that were there were pretty good teams. And my boy, he was driving a T-Bird also. And when you put 2 of them together on one team, they don't know what to think because they just can't concentrate on one.
Right. The competition that you're up against out there was stout. I mean, it was certainly one of the top team shows that you're going to see in the middle of the summer. You've got another team show coming up in Wadena later this year. Are we going to see you there as well?
Yes.
Is it a safe assumption that you're going to have Thunderbirds there as well?
Yeah, I got a few more laying around.
A few more. How many's a few?
I started up the season with 9, and I still got 6 to go. So
nice.
Good.
Are they all 62 threes?
I run anywhere. The last one I wrecked was a 61, and my boy wrecked a 64.
Uh-huh.
So anywhere from the 1s to the 5s seem to be the ones I like.
Nice. What's different about those versus older ones?
The older ones, the front of them in front of the A-arms dip down real bad, and if you ain't got the right rules to run long brackets, everything's all bad.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt, how many years have you been building, or how long have you been building the T-Birds? Because, I mean, obviously you've got it figured out pretty much to a T what it takes to build one. I mean, there had to be some trial and error. How long have you been running T-Birds?
I've been running them for 4 years, ever since they pretty much have banned me from running suicides anywhere. I just started digging around and thinking, help me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Good answer.
So how long were you running suicides before that? Have you run a lot of them?
Yeah, I know we've wrecked at least 60 to 70 of them out of my shop.
Holy shit.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
I know a couple years in a row there, we brought like 6 or 7 of them down to Mayhem.
That's awesome.
That is great.
Now, if you had a choice now that you're getting good with these, would you rather run these or a suicide?
Well, if you could build them to the same rules, where you could run your brackets back to the A-arms and stuff like that, I mean, I would consider them being fairly the same,
Just the difference would be the probably the size of the car. The birds are a little bit smaller than the suicides, aren't they?
Yeah, the birds are easier to get around. I mean, it's like driving a new style on fucking steroids,
Right.
In Winter Slam, I could not watch this guy. You were pounding on me. I don't know if you remember just beating the shit out of me. When you were, I could not get defensive ever. I mean, this guy was so fast, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was amazing to watch how mobile you were out there. I couldn't get any traction, and you were tracking people. Tracking people. I remember.
That's the one advantage over them. If you're driving a suicide, it's almost like driving an old box car. You just ain't whipping it around that easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Kurt, do you build your own motors too, or?
No, I run C&M racing motors out of Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
That was impressive because, like I said,
They were screaming.
I don't think from the time they said go until the time you got the checkered flag, you were just that motor, and it never the sound of the motor never
Skipped a
changed.
beat.
No.
And that last 10 minutes of Winter Slam was like I mean, he was driving it so hard, and
Yeah.
it never slowed down.
That was amazing. I mean, you definitely have an incredible combination there.
Definitely.
How'd you come across them?
Friend of mine just gave me his phone number, and I just called him up one day and was like, well, I want to try one of your motors because I had wrecked so many. I mean, I went through motors like you couldn't believe, and I just figured I got to do something different.
Right.
How many of those different drivetrain setups do you have? Is it a situation where you've got multiple of those, or do you just use the same one time over and time over?
No, I got 3 complete C&M motors, and then I got other motors that are like local county fair motors and stuff like that, you know.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
How many times do you run through the course of the year? I mean, you've been at a number of the premier shows that we've seen here. Do you do much on the local level, or do you try to just hit the big ones?
No, we run a lot of the local stuff too. With the local, pretty much in a year, I'll run close to 20 derbies myself.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Are they all to the same build specs?
No, that's what sucks. You know, a couple of years ago they were pretty close, and now some of them give you one chain and that's it, and the next one you can weld for 3 weeks.
Right.
Right.
So
Nice.
Oh, and a little paint and seam sealer won't help.
Seam sealer.
Says the official in the room. That's great. Now, Kurt, does your son run as hard as you do?
yeah, he was out in the heat in Mandan. He got both of his ball joints taken out, so then he was pretty wound up after that. I got his car fixed up for him, so when we went into the feature, he just went balls out and was trying to destroy everything in sight.
That is great. There's nothing better than that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
And driving father son.
Yeah.
And T-Birds and winning. I mean, what a great weekend. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's great.
Who gave you the most concern out there? You know, when you started whittling it down and you were down to like the last maybe 10, 15 minutes there, who was giving you the most concern in Mandan?
Shea and Dookie. Shea Walden and Dookie Stroke.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that at the end that they'd be the ones to beat, and luckily Shea ended up blowing out his rear end, and then at the end it was Dookie was left and was able to break his tie rod and his upper ball joint, and that's what gave me the advantage. And otherwise, I know that would have went on for a long time.
What were they driving?
New style Fords.
Nice.
I like the mix up, right? There was a team. Was there a team of clamshells there?
Yeah.
Dude, there's everything. How
Yeah.
awesome!
Yeah, that's great.
What a great show.
And this is quite similar to what we're going to be seeing in Wadena when we go up there, Wadena County Fairgrounds, August 16th. It's going to be an outstanding show.
I can't wait.
mean, the talk around this is outstanding. And you know, Kurt, we've got the confirmation there that he's going to be there. If you want to see how to drive a Thunderbird, there's
No doubt.
there's your blueprint right
There's
there.
There's the
It is going to
clinic.
be.
Yeah, clinic.
It's going to be too. I mean, and the names and the build styles, the way that the rules are out there, it allows you to build to your strengths. It's not like, you know, some of these shows are, you pretty much have to run a new style Ford.
Yeah.
You pretty much have to run, you know, some of the shows up here, you pretty much have to run a Chrysler. Some of the shows in the Midwest, when it comes to older stuff, you have to run a GM. The way the rules are written, it's really even, and man, is it setting up some really dynamic teams. The combinations of the potential for, we talked about it before, the potential for a team of 4 wagons. You know what I mean? The potential for a team of 4 T-Birds. All these
I love
different
the team
combinations.
atmosphere. I mean, the team show is like just brought new. I can't wait to start running team
It's
shows.
just like Mayhem, though, Wayne. I'd hate to be the one with 4 wagons.
Yeah.
Because, like, Mayhem, you might as well just paint them fluorescent freaking orange and say, hit me.
But isn't that what they're
Because
for? Isn't that what they're for, though?
That's what they're for, though. But you know, you always want to try to play the. You know, you always want to play
The hide card?
Yeah,
Yeah.
play the game where you know it's not. It's a less intimidating card, but until you open up the can of whoop ass with it, and then they're like, oh shit. You know, it's like the T-Birds. You know.
That format up there, Wadena County Fairgrounds, if you Google it, you can find all sorts of information on there. It's called the Grand Slam. We're going to be up there doing the taping in addition to doing pre- and post-race show with those guys after we get done hanging out with Jesse and Performance Rear Ends on Friday night.
I did talk to Jesse about that, too, and I think him and I are good to go. I'm pretty sure I'm going to run that night. Me and him are going to run a county fair together. Come on, Ben. Maybe I'll get sick that night and run.
But you know, the August 16th, and right now, based on 8 teams, it's going to pay $4,000 to win. If they get something like 16 or 20 teams, it goes up to like $6,000. You can walk away with a really nice payday for that team format show.
That's awesome.
I mean, Kurt, who else from your circles have you heard about talking about getting ready to go to Wadena?
I believe Shay and Dookie from North Dakota are going to bring a team, and I think like Lance Pritchard and Bob Meyer from Park Rapids are talking about running there. And
those names would be familiar as
Blizzard
winners
Bash.
of Blizzard Bash last year, and they know how to build stuff. I mean, is there anything that's going to have a chance to even drive back on the trailer after that Wadena show, or is everything just going to be destroyed?
It should be pretty much junk.
I like it. They got a bunch of underclasses too. They got a couple truck divisions. They got compacts and stuff out there. All those are paying at least $850 to win. If they get 20 or more entries, they're going to bump that each of those divisions 20 entries per subdivision. They're going to bump that up to $1,000 to win if they get 20 or more. So I mean, they're trying to, instead of saying we're going to pay this much, but if we don't pay this much, we're cutting it back. They're saying this is a minimum to win. If we can get more cars than that, then we're going to pay you more. You know, this is a minimum of what you're going for, which I thought that was a nice,
that's a good way to do it.
Real good way to do it.
I like that.
Kurt, when you guys are out trying to find cars, what's it like out in your area? Is it hard to find cars? Easy to find cars? You know, what's kind of the dynamic out there for you?
Well, it's kind of a different situation for me because I crush cars for a living.
That helps.
So every day I'm working, I'm shopping.
Sure. Sure. That's cool.
That's nice.
You just don't have a Burt Jackson number.
That's cool.
I know another guy that does that down in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Wait. They call him from the yard and say, hey, Pete, there's something you got to come over here and see. And he comes over for the derby shop. Yeah, all right, put that one aside. Yeah, sorry, Pete. Don't mean to bust your balls.
Excellent. Just I'm so excited about that show in
It's
August.
gonna be awesome.
It's going to be outstanding.
Just all different. I love Blizzard Bash, but they're all Vicks. To think that we could.
That's not true.
Well, I know, but for the
That's
most part,
true.
there was.
I think there was a Buick there.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
a couple.
they were pretty good.
No, I agree with that. But now
How
there's
could
so
you
many
forget
different-
about Jimmy Johnson?
No, I didn't.
Holy,
I didn't.
Jimmy, you hearing this out
What I'm
here?
saying
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Jimmy Johnson was there too. I was talking about Lance Pritchard's car
Pritchard, yeah.
running around on 3 wheels because they won.
Right,
You know, the
that's
E2
true,
Sliders
too.
team.
That's
they
true.
won. They had a Buick.
No, there was a couple of them out
Just
there. I'm
to-
saying for the most part. But I'd love to see a team of clamshells, a team of T-birds. I mean, then some Vicks. You know, then the Vicks are going to get smoked out there, I think.
It's exciting.
No, Ben's like, no.
It is exciting, and I know we're looking forward. Obviously, we're looking forward to seeing Kurt again. We didn't get the chance to get out there for that Mandan show, and then those guys turn around and win. And you know, anybody, Kurt, before we let you go, that you want to give some recognition to, or let anybody know how to get a hold of you and thank the guys to help make that car get on the track.
Well, I'm not going to give out no Thunderbird tips yet.
I'm not asking for Thunderbird tips. I'm just saying, is there anybody you want to say thanks to? We already crossed that bridge. I knew I wasn't getting anywhere. I'm not going back to that well. Thunderbird tip: go buy one and learn. There we go. So, is there anybody that you wanted to say thanks or just give some recognition to in terms of helping get the cars together and getting your team in victory lane out there in Mandan?
Yeah, the team captain, Gemini Strelo, he busted his ass. He was one that just got back not too long ago from Afghanistan. So
Cool.
I actually wasn't going to run out there this year, so I actually ran on his team. So last year, my boy took his team over and ran it out there while he was deployed. So
Nice.
so it means a lot to him that we actually pulled it off and did good since he didn't get the Derby last year, you know.
That's
Nice
awesome.
way to come back and get back into the Derby world.
Absolutely.
I believe he was the one that they recognized at Blizzard Bash, the red, white, and blue car, right? That was him.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
He and his son.
With his
His
boy.
son had the
Yeah,
Power
yeah.
Wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool.
That's very cool. Yeah. Nice.
Excellent. Well, Kurt, I appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out with us here tonight. We look forward to talking with you again soon. Where's your next date?
Right now, I'm not for sure. Maybe some local stuff to mix it up in between now and that team show, and that's about it, I think.
Cool. Well, if we don't talk to you beforehand, August 16th, Wadena Wadena County Fairgrounds, the Wadena Grand Slam. They're going for some serious money out there, and the team format is one you don't want to miss. You're going to see Curt Zacharias out there. Kurt, thanks a lot for joining us on the program. We'll let you get back to resting your body and building those T-birds.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Kurt.
Bye.
Dude, he's fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
Dude, he's really fun to watch.
Seriously, it's a T-bird clinic.
No, he's.
I mean, he knows how to drive the cars.
Yes.
He knows what shots to take.
Yes.
What,
I found myself watching him in Winter Slam. Even I was derbying,
Yeah.
but then I'm watching him. It's like this guy's schooling people right now.
Yeah, because you were fifth. You had time.
Yeah, I did.
There's another.
That hurts.
I agree with that. He smoked me a lot of times.
I think one of the hardest hits you had was from him.
Oh, it was.
like in the middle. You were in the middle
I
of
know
the track.
exactly what track
and he
you're
came
talking
from the
about.
other end and drove you out of a pile.
I watched him the rest of the Derby because I don't want that again. I did not want two of them.
Yeah, that might have been the hardest hit you took all night.
No,
He
it
drove
was.
you right out of a pile.
After he drove Josh out of the pile, I watched him the rest of the Derby too. It's like this is a lad to watch.
Definitely, dude. He was.
I believe there's some tentative conversation that the roof camera may be affixed to Curt Zacharias'
Got
car.
to.
Oh, that would be
Got to.
awesome.
Maybe.
Good choice.
I think
If,
that would be an excellent choice.
If this comes to pass, I mean, imagine this combination that we can get a roof camera on Lance Pritchett's car and Zacharias' car when they're together.
That'd be
cool.
awesome.
Come on, right?
Yeah,
That'd
definitely.
be
I
cool.
quit. Drop the mic. Done.
Definitely.
Mic drop.
That's awesome. No, it's gonna be a good show for sure.
Definitely.
That's one, yeah. And I was on the phone with Darren Agard. We just got the okay on their print ad. There's going to be an ad in the next issue of Derby Inc. magazine. Had a couple questions about that, so I want to take a minute and just touch base on that. I am in a dilemma. Do I go ahead and get all the stuff to the printer and get it out so that it comes out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and miss Mayhem, and then Mayhem doesn't go in an issue until next September? Or do I wait out Mayhem? That way we get Mayhem and Morris coverage in this issue, so we got the freshest stuff in there, and then we can just dedicate all of the county fair stuff to the next issue. And I decided that I think we're going to wait for Mayhem. So this next issue that comes out is going to be probably 4 days later than usual, but at the same time you're going to have Mayhem coverage, so pretty much everything is going to have it's going to have a lot of stuff in it. So the next issue with Derby Inc. is it's going to be a couple days late, but it's going to be able to. We're doing that with respect to Derby Icons Metal Mayhem event, so that we
And
can
you
got
to think your next one is going to be so packed full because you got the season in
Yeah.
it, the whole season.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
probably
You're right
what's
on
going to end up happening is we're going to do the same thing with the next September issue is what we did with last year's cycle. September was the August and September stuff and a little bit of pre-race stuff leading up to into what you're going to see in October. And December was the catch-up issue where it just was full of everything.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's
Well,
only so many pages, you know.
Yeah.
And this time, December is going to be. You're going to have Blizzard Bash in it.
Blizzard Bash was in the last one.
What's-
Blizzard Bash was in last
what's-
December.
Yeah, but you got that for this year coming up.
It's in the back of my mind. Trust me. I am nervous about how many pages this
I'm not-
thing is going to be.
Just make a Bible of it. Let's just do a real thick one.
Just a real thick one?
Let's just do one like this.
And
Derby.
Josh will pay for the extra pages.
Derby
if
Inc.
you get me my name and something.
Derby Inc. Britannica.
That's all right. Part of the collection.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, think about Bash for Cash, Drive for Five, May Mania, Mayhem, Spring Explosion, Mandan, pre-race for your show coming up.
Morris.
Coverage for Morris. We got Black Rock stuff in there. I mean that doesn't even scratch the surface with what's going in there.
No. There's so much stuff.
And
It's good to have too much as opposed to not enough.
sometimes.
It's tough
Sometimes.
though because there's so much stuff to talk about. I get done with this show sometimes, and the people are like, "You didn't talk about this. You didn't talk about this." I want to apologize, but there's so much stuff on our plate.
Yeah.
There's
we got
so
an
much
hour.
stuff going on in the
I mean,
country.
so far have we touched on everything that we wanted to get into? I don't even remember.
Yeah,
No.
we gotta. Well, there's a couple things we still got to get to, but real quick, I'd like to talk on Charlie's. I mean,
Yeah,
we only have to take about 45 seconds.
We don't
for
have to.
that.
I mean, I'm not looking. Here's the thing: is we're gonna get into Brockton still. Metal Mayhem's coming up. We got to spend a little bit of time talking about that. Charlie's situation. I'm not here to turn this into a bash session on anybody. I mean, we see what happened. We know what happened. Bad deal all the way around. Completely bad deal. My understanding in some of the conversations that I actually did talk to Charlie. Invited him to give him a spot on the show to come on and basically tell his side. And he said it probably wasn't the best decision, and he chose not to. Basically, the guys ran Friday. They ran their heats, and Saturday there was it looked like maybe there was some bad weather in the area, and the start of the show was delayed for a while, and then delayed, and then it came out, and a representative of the officiating staff came out during the drivers' meeting and said, if I understand this correctly, basically we don't have the money to pay you guys.
Oh wait, Charlie, didn't even do that talk?
My understanding is that it was somebody associated with the officiating staff.
Jesus Christ.
But let's say there was some good things that came out of it. Johnny Gullo has offered to do, I believe it was shirts and trophies for all the kids in the youth, in the Power Wheels. Matt Groschel, I'm sorry if I spelled that wrong.
Just say Joker.
AKA Joker.
Everybody knows Joker.
He's offered to, with some cash, possibly, some parts, possibly.
Very cool.
There's a guy on Facebook, they called him Brick Boss, I believe was his name.
Yeah, Brick Boss.
He threw down, I believe it was $4,000 for the guys to put on a show Saturday.
There's people
that are stepping up to try to help the issue.
It sucks that they have to do it.
Yeah,
but
it's great as a community to come together and do that.
Thank you for everybody that's doing something for them.
That's very, very classy.
Because there was a ton of awesome cars that just got junked and didn't get a.
And Demolition Derby probably lost drivers over this. Because
fans, for sure,
fans, no doubt. I mean, the credibility of unfortunately the credibility of that promoter is gone because this is the second time this has happened.
Oh, he can never promote
this isn't,
again.
And he had a track where he had
never.
I guess again, this is kind of piecemeal some information together based on what I talked with Charlie and he didn't rent the materials at the ground and basically had bought them with the mindset that he would draw enough bodies, fan-wise, to be able to cover everything. And when the crowd didn't show up, everything started coming apart.
You cannot do that.
And you can't. He got bit by your reputation. He got a reputation years ago. I was at that show the first time, and it all happened. And it just, that reputation sticks with you, and people remember that. People were very skeptical. Don't get me wrong, there was supporters that actually went. I mean, there was people there was drivers there that gave him a second chance.
I give Charlie credit for trying.
And yes, and he definitely tried, but
no, he didn't.
I think he did.
I'm gonna quote the Joker kinda and said, you know what, promoting's not what it's cracked up to be. It's a very tricky business. If you're not a business person, then you shouldn't be doing it.
Oh, that's the answer. And you better cross your whatevers and dot your I's because
that's the thing. I mean, I was thinking about it on the way here, and obviously Charlie's a derby guy and he loves the sport. He started Metal Mayhem. He didn't go into this to try to cause the ass aches. He didn't go into this to try to screw people. But maybe he should have tried a little bit smaller show, as opposed to going overboard on everything. Maybe say, hey, look, I'm going to have a show. $10,000 to win. This is what I'm going to have. 2-3 classes maybe.
And build his credibility back up would have very much helped.
Yeah, it's just like.
But also, he didn't just burn drivers here. Think of all the people that stuck up for him. I mean, we've been all over the country, and a lot of people said right to us, "Hey guys, go with this. Trust me, this guy's on the ball this time." And you burnt your own friends, and those are your real friends because they're the people that were sticking up for you in a bad time, and then you burnt them. Yeah. Boy, that's frustrating. Yeah, I get mad just from a driver's side. You don't ever want to see drivers work, spend time, hours. They're away from their family, all that stuff that they did, and then for nothing. It's.
I mean, you're looking at that caliber build. You're probably looking at. I'd say average investment in the car from $4,500 to $5,500.
All of that,
and think about how
much it wasn't a crazy weld show.
No, it doesn't matter. There was nice clamshells there.
I'm not saying that there's not.
Wasn't that the show that Zisselman was taking two Imperials to?
No, he took a wagon and an Imperial to that one, I think.
I thought I saw.
He took it to Mandan, but
then think they didn't go to other shows with those cars because they went to that one. Now you're burning other shows that are gonna help you. Right. I mean, it just causes a downward effect. I hope this guy never promotes again.
I don't think.
I'm sorry. I just don't because it's just no good. It's not. Don't do it to anybody again, man.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be that opportunity.
Don't do it to our guys again. Just don't.
It's not. Yeah, good. It's not.
And I hope other promoters are watching and maybe pay attention as a promoter. What went wrong here? What was this guy doing wrong? And there was a lot of things. But just as a promoter, don't let this happen. Don't do this to people because you only get one shot sometimes.
Yeah,
and you're not gonna get a second shot.
And there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of "I told you so."
Sure.
Oh, there was on Facebook.
Pointing fingers and all this crap. You know what? It is what it is. Now you definitely know now, and that's the way it is.
Yep.
There's no sense to keep flipping it over like a freaking pancake all day long.
No, you're right.
You're right. It is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And you look at the other thing too is there's another side of this that you guys haven't touched on. Sponsors invested money in the show, counting on returned exposure.
Good point.
And this is not
doesn't help the
returned
sport.
exposure.
Doesn't help the sport.
Not at all.
No.
And the vendors too. Another thing was the vendors, how far they had traveled to be there.
Chris and I talked about that.
And those guys, they had heats. Yeah, they had the opportunity to sell some stuff and stuff like that because they didn't cancel the show until later in the day. But at the same time, those guys still had opportunity cost to be there.
Exactly.
And they could have opportunity costed their way to a different event.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, all the way through.
But on the same side, on the same side, I'm willing to look at this from a promoter's perspective. I think Charlie's heart was in the right place. The dollars weren't.
Yes.
I think the dollars weren't, and it cost a lot of drivers a lot of stuff, and I don't think this was on purpose.
No.
I really don't.
I don't think it was on purpose either, but maybe it wasn't thought through correctly.
Yeah.
I
just think I really honestly think he just bit off more than he could chew.
Well, he put the cart in front of the horse.
Yeah, exactly.
But
exactly.
He truly, I agree with Chris. Truly, in his mind, he loves Demolition Derby. I mean, you could tell the passion he had for it years ago when I first started going out there with all the team shows. The Mopar Expresses, the Outsiders, the Outlaws, and all them when he first had them out there and actually paid them guys to come run his show.
Yeah.
To come run his show. And
quickly that's forgotten.
He has, he had great shows, but he definitely has a passion for it. And I think, like Chris said, his heart was in the right spot, but he put the cart in front of the horse, and just bad things happen.
Can't do
And
it.
I wish him. I do wish him the best because he is in a real ugly spot right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
He is not in a good spot, and I feel awful for all the drivers that went out there and tried to support him. And the thing is too another point that I saw online and was so many of the young drivers may not have had the frame of reference to listen,
Right.
to know that they needed to listen.
Right.
But the thing is again, I said it a minute ago, Derby has no crystal ball. Nobody
No.
knew
for
sure. Nobody knew for sure this was going to happen, especially with all the people that were really on board and behind it. Charlie invited us out there. The only reason that we didn't go was because we had Cuba and Yates County Speedway, Dundee, for those who aren't familiar with the township, and Black Rock for Josh, who wants to. We already had 2 shows booked on that day, and we couldn't swing another one. And
Yeah.
No, I think we just covered that perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was awesome. Well said on all of us.
Yeah,
there.
We'll put Charlie to rest now.
Yep. See you later, buddy.
So to speak.
Yeah, so to speak. Ben, that was interesting choice of words.
Great set.
Eloquent.
Well done, Ben. I like that, actually.
Well, Ben, let's talk about your show.
What do you want to know?
Well, Morris is this weekend. Spring Fling, the Father's Day show.
Father's Day show. We're trying something new.
There's some crazy stuff going on over there.
We got some crazy drivers down there. They're really passionate about
Smashing
people
stuff.
smashing shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
just junking stuff. And we I kind of threw a twist in. I called up Steve and I said, hey, I got an idea. I said, these guys, I said, what about putting passengers in cars?
Oh, yeah.
We've seen it in different shows that we've been around. And Steve's like, in the cars? I'm like, no, we're going to put another twist. We're going to let them run passengers in the pickup trucks.
Hell yeah.
He goes, you're not right. But
Who said that?
Steve did. He goes, that's it. He goes, you're not right. I'm like, me? I'm not driving. I'm not going to meet him. He goes, no, they're not right. He goes, whatever you think. He says, I think that's a hell of an idea. And
I think it's a terrible idea because they're going to use that passenger side door as a shield.
They're not. No,
I am.
No, because
I am, Ben.
Be
ready to wave that flag.
Here's the deal.
Because I'm doing it all night.
Here's the deal.
Get that flag ready.
Yeah, and the same speech will get taken with the driver's door hits and everything else like that. But it also, you'll have to stress, lay off the passenger door.
Yes.
The hits will happen, but down there, if you're crazy enough and dumb enough to put your passenger door out there, there for your passenger,
you're gonna get smoked in it.
Dude, your passenger might as well just. He's gonna be sitting on your lap.
Well, for everyone that knows, our tracks are narrow, long. You stay up and down, you're good all night. As soon as you get like this, say good night. Say good night. And these guys are kamikazeing for that.
We've put that spin into it as a pilot thing. We're going to try that out now. I really think we're getting a good turnout, a good response, I should say. We're going to do that probably in the fair too. Steve's raised his purses this year.
Yep.
We've
2 o'clock start time out there for Morris.
2 o'clock start time.
Imperials are going to run this weekend.
Otsego County Fairgrounds. I don't have enough in-car cameras to do this. I can't wait.
Inspection. Actually, I'm going to be down there early, so we'll be firing. I'll be firing stuff up at like 9 o'clock in the morning probably.
And I'm still riding with you, right?
It don't matter. You can ride with me.
Good.
As long as you don't get jet lag.
I ain't gonna get jet lag.
Okay.
Ben, would you run? Because I'm contemplating this. I got to put my cage in this week. Would you run a steering wheel for your passenger, or would you run a T-bar? I've seen both setups actually. I've seen out west where they actually just have like a T-bar, a bar with a
shit handles.
Shit handles. Or would you run it? My guy's like, I don't need none of that shit. And it's like, no, you're going. If your head goes off the dashboard, you're gone.
Something to hold on. And like I've been telling guys,
that's optimistic.
You're gonna need it.
I've been telling guys in the trucks, they've been calling and asking a ton of
questions. And a bite guard.
It's like, you know what? I've always been adamant telling guys, reinforce your driver's door. I don't have no problem reinforcing driver's door. That's a total safety thing. Same thing now with a passenger. Reinforce the passenger side door.
Are kickers reinforcing?
No, you're not putting kickers in.
You know what? In order to even the playing field, if you're going to be allowed, if you have a passenger and you're allowed to hit on the passenger side, reinforce both doors, and there's no off limits. Hit wherever you have to.
Well,
you still can't. You still don't want people to hit the doors.
No,
I know what you're saying, but
if
brace them up.
No. No, thank you.
Said the guy who was definitely hitting passenger side doors.
No, thank you.
Table just spun, bro.
No.
But it don't matter. Them guys, they don't even wait for somebody to get broadside.
No,
they'll back up the blocks.
In Morris, doesn't matter. If it's in your way, it's going over
right through it.
Yeah, they'll hit you front, back, sideways, upside down, whatever way they can get the car to hit you.
Brookfield Wheel Days is the same way.
That whole area. If you get east of Syracuse, it's just drive the balls off the thing.
Go ahead. Steve and I were talking, and he's got to talk to Lukey, old Bubby down there, and he's talking about putting on a fall show down there too.
Yeah,
do it.
Yeah, and
do it, Steve.
Pay decent, a lot better money than what the fair is going to pay. So.
Is he looking October, September?
I'm not sure the date.
No.
We're just kind of brainstorming. And
cool.
Do it.
And pretty much that's all I'm going to say right now on that.
Yeah.
October-ish.
I'd be good with that.
Late October. This is when it slows down. It's like the best time, I think.
Or maybe Labor Day-ish. Have like a championship.
No, don't.
Way too much shit going on now. Way too much shit going on.
No, I really need something to shore up October. So if you want to.
Yeah, October. I'm with you, actually. I get slower then. Let's run October.
October's Utah.
The first week, October 4th is Utah. After that, you can do whatever you want.
That's my birthday week, so yeah.
You're going out there, right?
I want to.
Oh, yeah. No, I already talked to Lazenby. We're going out there. Okay. I had a long conversation with him.
Okay.
Ben and I are going out there. We might go early. Be ready to take days off.
But no, so.
Do me the huge favor and fly separate, because I don't need to listen to Josh complain the whole way home about how sore his neck is. When Ben sends him in front of Lazenby.
All right with that.
Say, Josh, if you wore a neck brace, you'd be all right.
Josh,
you got to wear a neck brace.
Josh comes home with no teeth. What happened? Well, Ben Haas did.
You know what's funny? Talking about Utah, that we slipped over there.
What happened, Josh? I don't know. Ask Dalton Golo. He saw it in person.
Josh and I were talking one night about gears, and I said, what do they run in Utah for gears? And he's like, oh, yeah, they run gears. And he said like 48s or 456. I'm like, dude, that's way too much out there. He goes, oh, no, they're getting to third gear. And I went, oh, yeah. I guess that does make sense.
I've never been to third gear, but Lazenby's like, oh, well, sometimes we hit 3 across there. And it's like, you hit 3? When I hit 2, I think I'm hitting hard.
Oh, yeah.
This guy goes to 3.
The only time in my life I have ever got the second gear and had it actually shift and go, we were running Utica Rome. And that they gave us. It started with like a derby track, and then I went to the entire front stretch infield, and I had a guy I had a Newport. I ended up winning that night, but I had a Newport. And I had a guy in a square back wagon.
That was 01 or 99.
1 or 2.
It was either 01 or 99.
01, I think. No, it had to be 2000.
Rain Man.
2000.
You know what happened 10 years ago today? I graduated.
You graduated from college.
Graduated college and skipped it to go to a race.
Good for you.
What was the race?
It was I believe it was a late model show down in, I believe, in Maryland.
Hagerstown?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was. It was either Hagerstown or it was a show in Delaware.
Belmar.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that would be the one. But I'm pretty sure it was.
Who won?
Yeah, that you shouldn't have missed it. You don't even remember, and you're the Rain Man. You don't remember.
I know. Because I got all.
You know why? Because racing is smoothed right out, and now it's all about derbies.
Kick it right out of there, buddy.
If we were talking about late models a little bit earlier, it probably would have come to me. But a lot of this space is full with derby stuff now.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Only so many channels in the memory bank, buddy.
Absolutely. See, it's funny because when I actually first met Chris, he was working for the paper and he was doing all the racing stuff and everything. But Chris was a derby head, and the first time I remember meeting him was at the races. I think we may have met at the Waterloo before, but I don't really remember. But I remember him coming up to the races.
And it was nothing that stuck with you, but I remembered meeting the Brian Tompkins and seeing the Brian Tompkins run a jack on a modified.
So we met him, but what I'm getting to is that even when Chris was doing the racing stuff, he'd always find a way to sneak something in the paper about the derbies.
Nice.
Chris has always been a derby. The racing may have paid the bills, but Chris has always been a derby guy at heart. All right, I'm sorry. Back to our normal.
But in Derby Inc. magazine, I have also found a way to squeeze a picture of what? A late model. Yes, a late model into Derby Inc. magazine.
You did.
I did.
The Redline motor.
I did, and nobody thought anything of it. I was proud of that.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that.
It's when the Redline article.
That's right.
With it's
Lockwood.
Bo's got a Redline motor.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did you see Redline? They're calling 1, 2, and 3 at Brookville.
Oh no!
Did everybody see that?
Baldwin is Pete Hansen's kryptonite.
Oh,
I got the video.
Oh yeah, we got a little action going on there.
I like that.
There might be some good numbers in Vegas. That night, let me tell you.
Danielle from Team Ciopa sent me a thing on Facebook of the kid that's running the first Baldwin Mopar motor, and it just shows him running up and down this road or street by his shop.
Send that to me.
That's not Corleado's motor, is it? No, it's the other kid. I know what you're talking about.
We got introduced to him when we were at Bash.
Yeah.
But that
Corleone? Is that what you said? Wrong movie.
It just sounds completely different from a Chevy. I mean, there's just a more hardier.
Can you send that to me?
Yeah, I will. Just let me find it now after the show.
There you go, Josh.
I can't afford them. I talked to Jeff Baldwin. He's like, can I have your junk ones? Because I want your motors.
You're just telling me you scrapped all your cars.
Yeah, you scrapped all them cars.
No, I scrapped old motors. Not old cars.
Completely misinformed. After everything, we're gonna get into that. After he sends that, make sure you put a good postage stamp on it. Send it from New York City. We got some ads to listen to. Check this out.
Just right. Set aside July 19th for the reinvented Keystone Nationals. Again this summer, Bo Lockwood will host the Keystone Nationals at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Brookville, Pennsylvania. A revamped rulebook will help welcome an all-star field as the limited well division takes center stage in a feature paying $5,000 to win. Pre-entries for the stock division are already full. For more details, join the Keystone Nationals community online at www.facebook.com/Keystone Nationals. Once again, the Keystone Nationals, July 19th, 2014 at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds, Brookville, Pennsylvania. What better way to spend Memorial Day than seeing a bunch of cars being smashed? Spend the holiday with Smash and Demolition Derbies as they again host the Bash for Cash at the Fayette County Fairgrounds in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Planned for May 24th and 25th, the card is headlined by the co-main event, the 11,000 to win DerbyParts.com.
Actually, I'm going to interrupt that ad break real quick. That is the Bash for Cash ad because I forgot to fix this. So that is the Bash for Cash ad that's playing.
And the 80s Wire Up Division. Gates open daily at 10 a.m. with action to follow at 4. For more information and details, visit the online home of Bash for Cash at www.smashitderby.com. Total Destruction Demo Productions is primed for an explosive 2014. Based out of Trumansburg, Steve Mann, Shockey, and Lead Inspector Ben Hoff have a busy summer with 4 epic events over 7 nights scheduled all over New York State. The schedule starts with the Spring Fling in Morris, New York, June 14th. Total Destruction then hosts 2 nights of carnage at the Ontario County Fair in Canandaigua, New York, July 22nd and 26th. Then the grueling Double Down follows with the Otsego County Fair in Morris planned for July 31st and August 3rd, and the Franklin County Fair in Malone set for August 2nd and 4th. For more details, visit www.totaldestructiondemo.com or call 607-769-6820.
O'Reilly Auto Parts proudly presents the Plymouth County Fair July 26th, Lamar's, Iowa.
Promoter Brandon Tyson has teamed with Ultimate Derby to bring a national level to one of the most aggressive and largest county fairs in the Midwest. 3,000 to win modified, 1,500 to win stocks, and 1,000 to win compacts. Passengers are welcome if you dare to ride along. The event is streamed free to the public online with 10,000 people. All courtesy of O'Reilly Auto Parts, the Plymouth County Fair, July 26th, Lamar's, Iowa. Online at www.plymouthcoderby.com. That's www.plymouthcoderby.com. The Seneca County Fair will be held Thursday, July 17th and Saturday, July 19th in Waterloo, New York. The two-day format includes something for everyone with a taste for elimination motorsports. Thursday's card is headlined by the Junk Run, allowing S10 Blazers, Rangers, minivans, Jeeps, and Ford Explorers. The card will include qualifying, advancing full-size competitors to Saturday's full-size championship, and then it will kick off with the four-cylinder figure 8 races. Championship night is July 19th. A full menu of qualifying heats for full-size cars will set the field. Then the four-cylinder one and done will crown the 2014 small car champion. The night concludes with the full-size championship action, with winners representing Seneca County at the New York State Fair Championship Labor Day weekend in Syracuse, New York. That's the Seneca County Fair, July 17th and 19th. To learn more, visit the fair online at www.senecacountyfairny.com.
Dude, that's a great idea, dude. I was like, I'm gonna do it. That's a great.
You guys having fun during the break?
Our breaks are some of the best parts of our shows.
That's so smart sometimes.
Don't forget, make sure you get out there and support those guys at Wadena County Fairgrounds, Wadena County Fair. Search them online. It's the home of the Grand Slam. Darren Agard's working real close with that. Jesse Keel's involved with that show as well. We're going to be out there. Grand Slam, team format, minimum 8 teams, and they're going to pay $4,000 to win. If they get up to 20, the money keeps going up to a possible $6,000. They got 3 subdivisions. They got trucks. They got compacts. And they're going to wreck stuff. You're going to be able to see Curt Zacharias out there with one of his world-famous Thunderbirds. So,
and let me say, for anybody that's looking into rear-end stuff, because I'm kind of dumb to that. Actually, I just was talking to Jesse Keel. I'm buying my first Mosier set, everything I want. For anybody that's looking for rear-end, even if you just have questions, he walked me right through everything. I didn't know anything really about how it all worked. He walked me through everything, got me in touch with Brian there, got me in touch with this guy, and I answered all my questions. So, yeah, anybody has any questions, even if you're thinking about possibly building one, just get in touch with him, and he's got great advice.
Jesse's a good one, and another good one I'll name drop. A cool guy I talked to out the Bash. I talked to him years ago too. Is David Bryan. He originally was Raptor Fab, and with Postal Mopar guys, them are same.
Matt McClure, Scotty Bauer,
same mindset.
The Postal Mopar guys are awesome.
I asked him.
Guys.
You know, I asked
Josh, your
him,
phone's going off. Looks like Jesse's calling you.
I asked him like some real, not stupid questions, but I just asked him a whole shitload of questions. He's like, he was more than happy to answer them and explain stuff. And
Ben and I walked over to the Postal Mopar table and we were looking, and I bought 2 hats, and Ben bought hats, and then he started talking about rear ends and stuff, and I just went, man, I'm not really all that intelligent, so I just kind of walked away because I figured my dumbness would screw up the conversation. But
Matt was explaining to me how to put one in a car, and like to me that was a science. I was like, man, this is. I mean, there's some awesome stuff being built out there right now. Those guys' stuff was their table was cool.
Yeah,
they had some good stuff there.
And it says Mopar. I mean, if it says Mopar, it's got to be good. You got to support guys that say Mopar.
That's true. That's a good point.
You're not wrong.
Can't argue with that.
I'm hoping to see some Mopars up there in Wadena too. It's going to be a good time.
Too. No, those guys up there, they build some hard Chryslers.
Yeah.
That's what I like about Minnesota, too.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Chrysler we saw in Ohio, the front of that thing, I don't think it ever bent.
The blue one?
The blue one. The back went to hell, which we all knew was going to happen.
I didn't like how he did it.
No, I agree. But the front of that was tough, and those wagons were tough. But they lasted probably halfway through the heats.
I wrapped the rear axles up around the roof on that thing.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the Y-framer that had the bumper shocks all the way out, and it ended up being a guy from PA. And I wish we knew that, because I would have taken the kid in the pits and like, let's cut this. In an hour, we could have had that car 10 times stronger.
Is that the car that wants to come run Ben show you mentioned?
No.
All right, just checking.
Everyone's like, I want to run my bash cars at Ben show. It's like, call Ben. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah,
you'd have to call all night.
Parking up the wrong tree.
There's going to be a lot of torch gas there, boys.
Yep.
So, I mean, we alluded to it a little bit just to sort of tackle a little bit of some stuff that was going on this week about the letter. And if you don't know about the letter, then you're apparently not in the Northeast. But there was a letter that circulated that originated from New York City that went to a number of the drivers that are competing at the Northeast Championship, which is just a short couple weeks away.
3 weeks away.
It said that it was from Josh Decker. It was not from Josh Decker. We're not even sure who it's from. I talked to one of the people that was speculated as it.
I know who it's from.
A lot of the rumors circulated that it was from John Kelly. John says that he's not the one that sent it. So, I mean, everybody's harassing a bunch of different people. Ultimately, I think that it was originating to be, sounds like it was supposed to be a joke, much in the line of some of the other things that were supposed to be jokes that took way out of context and ended up going way off the rails. And I'm hoping that it doesn't ultimately reflect poorly on Wood Booger Demolition Derbies, because those guys are good people. They run a good show out there at the Northeast Championship, and they're trying to do something better for the sport with their 80s and newer format. It's coming up, starts the 28th, 29th, and runs 3, 4, and 5. There's a team element. Looks like there's drivers from Vermont and Maine and New York. There's teams going to be there for that program. And I'm just hoping that this doesn't ultimately reflect poorly on those promoters, because they are trying to do something good for the sport and keep things affordable while paying out some pretty serious money at the Northeast Championship.
And I want to say that too. I mean, these guys are stepping up to pay $7,500. For me, that's gigantic around here. That's why I'm going to support that show. 99.9% of the people east of here are great people. I love talking to all those Derby guys. They're all great people. They build great cars. They're very passionate about it. One guy has kind of made it hell for everybody. And you're right. We don't know who it is. But I think I do.
There's a lot of speculation. There's some coincidences that fall in line that make it a little bit tough to say.
Let me say that, but this simple, Ben. If somebody says you did something, okay, I'm just going to throw this out there because I'm a salesman. I deal with this every day.
Yes, you are.
If somebody says to me, you are an asshole, Josh, because you did this or that or whatever, and I did not do it, I call you before I can even get my phone out of my pocket. I would call you to say, between you and me, guy to guy, this didn't happen. This wasn't me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do this to you. I wouldn't do this to all their Derby people. I wouldn't do this to promoters.
Right.
I wouldn't do this.
Right.
That call's never been made.
No.
So for me, it's just, it is what it is, and I'm actually dropping it. Do we come out there or not? We're hoping to. We haven't. Our team hasn't fully jumped on that yet.
Here's the other thing, Josh. I think I'm going to speculate this. I'm going to shoot this out there.
I love when you do that.
Was this letter intended to kind of spoil, kind of liven things up, kind of get people's blood going? But that type of shit. That's high school shit.
It is.
We're trying to evolve the sport.
Yes.
We're trying to. Jim and them and Eileen are trying to make this a high. It's definitely a high-paying derby, a higher caliber.
It's a high-profile show.
High class show. Absolutely.
And there's certain. I don't want to use etiquette because that sounds like snobby, but there's certain
there's certain you should
act.
There's certain protocols that you should follow. I mean,
in all motorsports, any motorsport.
That wasn't one of them.
And don't not revert back to this high school point fingers. You said this, you said that, you said that. I'm going to send this out to make you look like a dick. Well, bottom line is
Josh Decker does not need any help looking like a dick.
Well,
no, I don't.
I'm just saying.
That's awesome. I'm always an asshole.
There's just no room for There's no.
Ben,
room
you're
for
absolutely right.
No,
You're absolutely right.
This is the thing is I came out on my lunch hour one day at work and everything's blowing up and I'm like. So then I think I
had that happen one time.
Yeah,
looking at you, Josh.
Sorry, buddy.
I text Josh and I'm like Josh, what's going on? And he tells me, and the thing is okay, so maybe did it as a joke, but it's not a very funny joke, and I've also heard stories of a bounty being put on Josh at this same show, and I'm I
was paying people. I was paying people not to come 3 months ago. Then there was a bounty on me. Now there's letters being sent out to me. It just sucks that somebody is so goddamn scared of me that they got to do this shit.
This is
what I weigh 180 pounds. Look at me. I mean, I drive hard. There's no doubt about it.
This is the thing. This is what I look at.
I wish I was a bounty on me or something. Maybe I could.
No.
This is what I look at is the fact that it may embarrass him some, but Josh is doing a lot to advance our sport, and he's trying to make it better, but not just for Josh Decker, because I've spent a lot of time with him. I've never heard him say, "Hey, what's in it for me?"
I love demolition.
He wants to make it better for everybody.
Absolutely.
And to attack the guy that's doing this for the sport as a whole, it's just a shitty deal. And like Josh said, if
I don't have my derby underwear on today,
if
I love it too.
If you didn't write that letter, then you should have called Josh the minute it came out and said, Josh, it wasn't.
Absolutely,
exactly.
It's an unclassy move. What I mean?
But I'm going to look past
that's my take.
And again, for all the people that are out there, no one's looking down on the area.
No.
The area is great people, great drivers. It's going to be a fantastic show.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
It's going to be one of the busiest weeks in Derby. I mean, hands down, between the early program that one of the nights has old iron, then they've got all the 80s and newer stuff going on, and it's all
going to
chain
be my
and
first
go.
team show.
Simple builds. It's going to be the team element. It's an outstanding show. Those are good people out there, and all this one apple spoiling it for the bunch is what we're trying to head off. These are good guys, and we want them to know that we definitely support the show as a whole.
100%.
Well, I think I'm not going to
100%.
speak for you, Josh, but I mean, if it was me, it'd be like, you know what? You're not going to keep me from coming to the show. I'm going to go no matter what.
No, and that's not.
And that's the thing.
And what he didn't realize is he actually pissed off more people to kind of be on my side, because it's like, wow, why would somebody do that? It's kind of a dickhead move.
But definitely, it's a great show.
He'll have what's coming.
Oh yeah.
Hey, my question is though, I mean, in all seriousness, I know you're going up to win the 7,500, and that's your goal. How mad will you be when Brett walks out of there with that money? Just get that out there, buddy.
Not at all.
All right, just
Brett's going to buy me something new.
Brian, he's going to be real mad when Brett pulls up next to him and goes like,
If I ever see that again from him,
if
he used to do it to me so often.
Him and Godfrey used to do it all the time, dude. Every Derby.
20, 30 cars of mine just shut it off, buddy. They used to point at my face before I pulled out there. You're going to be in for a hurting, buddy. And then 2 seconds later, it's like, oh, I hated them guys. They're my friends now, though. I love them now. But.
You could use that this year a few times.
Yeah. Use the.
All right. This is I knew.
Listen, this is what you do. You give them the 0-0 and then go like this.
No.
Everybody's doing the turn back time stuff.
Yep.
Josh, I don't think that's what you do at all. I think this is what you need to start doing right here. You need to point at him and then just go
down.
Yes.
I've had that too.
Double.
I believe it was Daniel Ort that gave you that.
That's before the Derby.
Before we ever met him, he gave him the darker, and he went like this, and I was like, that is awesome.
I like that kid.
And then we drank a lot of.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
Drinks that night at the bar.
Well, you know how it's come out now that Josh is running up in Minnesota with Jesse Keel. Daniel Ort has a copy of that letter. He just whited out a bunch of stuff and changed the city and sent that out to a bunch of people.
That'd be awesome. I'm okay with that.
All right, guys, we're over, and we're gonna be having extra company if we don't get out of here. Any final thoughts, quick?
Next week. We'll talk about something else next week. We missed a ton of shit today.
We probably are going to end up doing a special edition show to touch on some of this NDC stuff as
really
more comes out.
Yeah.
I got so much I passionately want to talk about in the NDC.
Steve's got a lot of questions about that.
I want to answer them all.
He's really anxious to get in on it.
I think if people could hear us talk about it, and Chris has a great idea of maybe doing a special, and I think
we want to do what we've talked about doing is maybe doing a special edition show on a Sunday morning and getting the phone number out so individuals have the opportunity to call into the show.
That'd be awesome.
I want to hear the real questions. That's a great point.
Chris, you said also with the NDC packet, there's going to be an autographed Josh Decker poster in that, right?
It's not a poster.
5x7
in the media industry, Brian. They call those 8x10 glossies.
Okay, all right.
Those are headshots.
But that goes in with your paid application.
Let's not put that out there because it isn't true.
It's in his portfolio.
If you want an autograph, however, if you do want an autograph picture, you can reach me at smashingforphotos@yahoo.com. As his agent, I can put you in touch with those guys.
And he doesn't use a stamp.
That's embarrassing.
I put stamps on them, and they come from Waterloo.
He doesn't use a stamp. He signs
Oh yeah, those are hand signed. Yes.
Guys, please.
Josh Decker's Demolition Derby. Josh Decker's Demolition Derby cars this year being presented by Sharpie markers. Ladies and gentlemen, guys, that's going to do it. We are completely out of time. We can't do any more with this. Thanks a lot for joining us. It's been a great episode. Lots to talk about. We'll see you next.